I do want to give y'all an update on Skinny Dip. Are you ready for the Skinny Dip update? Okay, first off, let's just go through where I left off. I left off at page 70. I have been annotating, okay, where I left off. Okay. Is right when we were getting backstory on Joey. Joey is the main character. She's the wife, right? We get a backstory that actually, I need to find exactly where this says this, because this is the wildest shit. Her parents used to live in Nevada, where they, quote, owned a prosperous casino resort that featured a Russian dancing bear act. The bears were raised and trained by a semi-retired dominatrix who billed herself as Ursa Major. Then they loved her. They loved her. They did all these different like shows. Then they were on a flight to go somewhere. Does it say where? Oh, they were going to transport the animals to a renowned parodontic veterinarian at Lake Tahoe, but the plane crashes. Then it says, federal investigators, this is a paragraph after everything I just told you, okay? Federal investigators later determined that for reasons unknown, the convalescing bear had been seated in the co-pilot's position at the time of the crash. Film recovered from a 35mm camera owned by the Wheelers revealed several snapshots of Boris, the bear, squeezed upright behind the steering yoke. In one frame, Ursa Major was curled laughingly in the beast's lap, tipping a bottle of Bailey's Irish Cream to its unfurled lips. In a subsequent photo, Boris had been posed in headphones and tinted aviator glasses. What? Yo, okay, so then it goes on to talk about like what had happened. Plane crashed in interesting ways, right? Then it says that the Wheelers, so Joey's parents, were worth a ton of money, which was divided to their two children, Joey and her little brother named Corbett. They each have like 4 million in a trust fund, and I wrote, oh, did Chaz want her millions? And it goes on to say that Joey was really, really smart with her money, didn't really want to like touch it. It's a total trip, right, Katsune? Joey didn't really want to like touch her money. She just kind of wanted it like there, you know, she didn't really have any plans for it. She ended up falling in love with her stockbroker and they got married. And I was like, oh, I thought Chaz was a biologist. Wait, if I just would have waited a sentence. This first husband died. Get ready. And I also want to let you know, all the bear stuff is on this page. Now we're over here on this page, okay? Her first husband died because of a skydiver who fell on him as he was practicing fly casting in the backyard. The skydiver's parachute had failed to open, and he descended silently through the sack of cement upon Joey's husband, who had been breaking in a new Loomis 9-weight. Okay. Joey was then left even more money from a lawsuit as like a settlement from the skydiving company, all right? Then we turn the page. Okay, this whole page was weird. This is now how she meets Chaz. She's an adult, obviously. I don't know why I said that like that, but she's at Disneyland, just living her best at Disneyland or Disney World, whatever, doesn't matter. And she met him because she witnessed this young man steal like an old lady's purse. Is that what that was? Yeah. The purse of a Belgian tourist. The culprit, who belonged to a group of youths who were being chaperoned by Joey. Then it says he supposedly had been diagnosed with ADD, right? Then it goes on to say But the young man's capacity for concentration was not so diminished that he failed to focus on a genuine Prada handbag amid the heaving throngs of tourists. Nor had his focus wavered even slightly as he stalked his elderly victim from the giant anteater exhibit all the way to Dino Land, where he made the snatch. So then, once she like had caught this kid, he also had like a Gucci keychain and a Tiffany lighter in his pockets for hiding. So what she reveals that he has like more stolen things in his pockets. It says after that, casting further doubt on the nature of his disability. And like I just am baffled. Is the author saying if you have ADD, it makes it impossible for you to be a thief? But I'm also not trying to say that people with ADD are thieves, but just like how it was like, oh, he can't focus, but he focused on this bag. I just I just don't know. I don't know. I had a moment of being like, what did he say ADD? And he did. He said attention deficit disorder. Chronic attention deficit disorder, which is ADD. And then says that him stealing things casts further doubt on the nature of his disability. And that just made me feel weird. I don't, it was just written really weird. I didn't like it. Either way, he witnesses, or Chaz witnesses her like take down this kid, and he's like, wow, that's super hot. So he starts flirting with her. And this is when it's like heavily described that he's like a very handsome man, and I cannot get my brain to agree with what the author is writing. In my mind, he's not good looking. Okay, so then it talks about how Chaz is like really good at sex, and is like obsessed with having sex. They get married, but he's definitely having affairs, you know, and she's contemplating living with him still, so she buys a bunch of like self-help books to be the true life partner, to help him clean up his act. And it's like, sis, leave him. Even if she was to die, he still has zero access to her millions. So she's also thinking like, well, he couldn't have killed me because of all the money that I have, because he will not get it. Like, all of her money goes to like a wildlife charity fund, so he doesn't get like a lick of it. Oh, I highlighted this part that said, except for the sex, Chaz wasn't a very compelling fellow. So she's questioning, he knew he couldn't get the money, so like, what is she doing? Or what, why did he like, you know, attempt to kill her? If he wanted a divorce, he could have just done that. Then we turn the page around chapter 3. She gets saved by our knight in shining armor, Mick. He saves her. Her eyes are swollen shut because of the salt and jellyfish stings. He lives on this like secluded island off the coast, and you know, saves her, bathes her, and she's like, that's weird. And he's like, well, you're naked and you stunk really bad, so, you know, I bathed you, put you in some pajama jams, and like, you're good to go. He seems nice. He's just a little standoffish. He's ready to call the cops, and Joey's like, don't call the cops. I need to figure out why my husband would attempt to kill me. So I just want to make him think that I am dead and that he got away with this, so I have time to figure out like what is going on. Then it switches back to Chaz, and he says as long as the sharks weren't negligent, they should have no way to find Joey, because he's banking on sharks eating her. He comes out of the bathroom where he has been masturbating a lot, and he's always doing that. He's always in the bathroom. He's always talking about sex or masturbation. And he is feeling intense relief that his wife is lost at sea. And he gets a call from a reporter that's like, yo, I've been listening to the police scanner. Like, I heard that your wife is missing. The reporter asks him some questions, also isn't revealing what they know. Then he gets a call from a woman named Rika, and he's like, oh my God, something terrible has happened. Joey fell off the boat. And she's like, what? How? And he's like, I don't know. That's just what like the cops think until they can find her, but they can't find her anywhere. And then Rika goes, do you think maybe she found out about us? What? And then he's like, no, absolutely not. Which, like, yes, she did. Like, she knew. He's not slick. He's not good at hiding things. Then this woman, Rika, starts to ask him if she's the only girlfriend that he has. And he's doing the whole, like, yes, baby, you're the only one I'm seeing. And then she's getting, like, a stank attitude with him, questioning if she's really the only girlfriend, and is, like, pissed at him and keeps asking if he has other girlfriends. And I'm like, girl, he has a whole wife. So why are you mad? Clearly he's got other women. Like, that just, her irritation that he might be seeing other women was like, oh, he's also married. Yeah, there was also a line that said, so the husband is hiding out in a Marriott hotel while the Coast Guard is trying to find his wife, and he's like hoping and praying that they don't find his wife, right? Then the mistress was like, let me come over, wink wink, and he's like, no, it would be poor form for a husband to be caught bonking a mistress less than 24 hours after his wife had perished. And that sentence was just weird. Bonking his mistress? Okay. Then gets questioned by another police officer. Also, when he's a biologist and he apparently has a PhD, and whenever he tries to tell people to call him doctor, they kind of like laugh in his face and continue calling him Mr. Perone, which is really, really funny. We then get an update that he, due to coming from a wealthy white family, he was just kind of given a PhD. So he isn't really a biologist. He knows absolutely nothing. Basically, he's just coasting through as a rich white man. There's also another sentence. There's a whole chapter where he talks about the prenup that Joey, his wife, made him sign. And he thought he could get out of the prenup on their honeymoon. He thinks that he can get out of the prenup on the honeymoon, and it doesn't make any sense how that would be like possible. And then he questions that like staying wed to a wealthy woman who refused to act like one has no point. So it's definitely clear that he's trying to find a way to all of her millions, but we get a quick perspective from the cops, and the cops reveal that they're more than sure Chaz doesn't know how much money she's worth, and it comes to light that she's worth like 20 million, I think they said. She's worth so much more than Chaz thought, because Chaz made it seem as if there was like a couple, like $1 to $2 million, and the cops are like, no, there's like there's millions. So that's definitely Chaz's drive, is to get the money and stay out here surrounded by women, I guess. Then we get back to Mick and Joey, and we learn that Mick, the man who saved Joey from the shore, has been married and divorced 6 times, all to waitresses, except for one that was a TV producer. And I'm really hoping that that information becomes important to the storyline, because why not have all 6 of them? If we're gonna go, they're all waitresses, but one isn't. Why? Like, do they use her TV influence to get this attempted murder story out there? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Joey decides that she is just really gonna try to do some digging and find out why he tried to murder her. She's still not calling the police, but where they are on the island, they can see like all the Coast Guard boats and like helicopters that are presumably searching for her, but she has sworn Mick to secrecy, that he won't try calling the police until she is ready. So So that's where we're at. We're only on page 70, y'all. And all this has happened. Chaz is an idiot. We hate him. Obviously. He's written very well to hate. He's not a biologist. He's after these millions. And Joey and Mick are out here. Will she be wife number 7? Who knows?